Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Vanessa Collins, joined by Katrina Ness. We are here in New York City at the World Trade Center with Uber for Business. We have an incredible group of top industry professionals here with us today, a very powerful panel, and we're going to be talking about process automation and specifically AI. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. Like Vanessa said, this is a very powerful panel with a lot of familiar faces that you may recognize from the Fixed Ops Roundtable. So starting off with AI and inside the dealership, Sean, you are in the Fixed Ops department, and what do you see AI really getting implemented well in terms of different processes and different workflows in your service department, as well as others that you may have seen or experienced?
Well, thank you. I think one of the things you have to focus on is, I think in the automotive world, we're behind the 8 ball, I think, when it comes to AI, and there's no question about that. You know, Brian Benstock today did a presentation earlier, and AI is not going to replace people. It's going to replace the people that don't support AI. And, you know, we've all tried the outbound phone calls, the inbound phone calls. Clients have met that with some resistance or non-resistance, but either you're going to get behind it or you're going to fail, because that's what it is. That's where it's going. You know, people are hard to find. AI helps solve that issue, and if we're not with it, you're going to find yourself literally out of business.
Right, exactly. And Tom, what about you? Are there any specific areas that you see it working well within your service department or within dealerships across the board?
Sure. Currently, right now, we've got 2 areas that it's working pretty well for us. First, so we have a 45-person BDC. We handle roughly 1 million phone calls a year through that department. So being able to take some of those easier phone calls off of that staff is allowing them to focus on things like decline services and do some other things for us that they didn't have the time to do before. The other area right now where we're having some success is working with a partner that is working to automate our warranty processing operations. Yeah. Another spot where there can be a lot of loss. You got to keep a close eye on your warranty schedules and those repair orders. So being able to automate makes it a little bit easier.
Thank you. And then Chris Walsh, President and CEO of Reynolds & Reynolds. You guys have so many different products across the board. So implementing AI, what is that like in a larger corporation like that?
I mean, it's if anything, that's a big project like this, it's challenging, but, you know, we really try to look at, you know, focus on what are some problems that AI can solve, you know, in a dealership, and engineer things from that, you know, perspective. So I think, you know, going from a phone call to an online service reservation, I think is something, you know, that AI can really be helpful with. I think the reconditioning, you know, side of the business, you know, not just what you need to do to a vehicle, but what should you do to that vehicle in order to put it in a position that it's going to likely sell, you know, quickly. It would be fun to put, you know, a price on it and put it out on your lot. So I think those 2 workflows are 2 areas that we really try to look at hard.
Yeah, and I think Sean said it very well in the beginning too. You know, if you're not implementing AI, it's not replacing people, but it will replace the people that don't use it and don't have it in place, because it's a great resource for many dealers and dealerships to use.
Absolutely, yeah. It's talked about a lot in this industry how important AI is, but also how important that human interaction is. So, Brian Kramer, I want to go over to you. How do you balance automation with the human touch, especially in customer communications? What's your take on that?
So I would say, you know, there's about to be more. There already is more data saturation than we can handle today, and there's more stuff coming at our people, and there's more data to analyze. Now, luckily, AI can break that down. We recently did a study of reconditioning and what are the most, you know, when somebody's appraising a car, right? Everybody's always asking the service manager, I need your help. I need you to discount the parts. I need you to discount the labor. I can't pay full retail. When they didn't walk around the car, they didn't scan it with an OBD. That's one thing. They might miss a few items, as Mike Boyd and I were talking about earlier. But what we see more often than not, that there's, out of, let's say, 20 appraisers, there's 2 appraisers that are not good at appraising tires, the values of them, and windshields. And they don't know that on 2023 to 2024 ADAS windshields that they aren't $800 anymore, they're $2,400 or $3,500. And that would have taken us months to comb through all that data, collate it, and sort it. And AI did it in a matter of seconds. But I think that's the first thing. Second thing is, AI is going to become so efficient with all the texting and everything we saw from Brian Benstock's panel earlier. What's I believe is going to be the number one need is to train all of our associates to live up to those promises and live up to the expectations. After AI answers all these questions and says, here's what you can expect, that handoff to the person in the store actually, that's where the training is going to begin. And those expectations, like Blink AI, you can set all the, answer all the questions and say, this is what it's going to be. And then if they don't honor all those commitments that were made online, it's going to come off the tracks. Right.
Yeah, Ashley, you with Blink AI, Telematica, talk to us a little bit about that balance between AI and human interaction and what you're seeing in Blink AI.
Yeah, so we're actually launching a brand new product called Telematica this week. And when you think about all the connected car alerts for, 75% of your cars on the road are already connected. And you've got thousands and thousands of alerts going off. You imagine your huge BDC, every OEM has a different process for processing those alerts. There's no way that humans can keep up with connected car alerts today. And so if we can aggregate the data for the BDCs, we can do those first couple of touches without BDCs having to even get involved, and then use them to escalate the problems that they need to actually handle. We've always said we have to wrap our arms around our advisors and our BDCs. They have a hard job, and AI can only enhance what they're able to do in their departments.
Absolutely. And Mark, what about you with SKAIVISION?
Yeah, I think that the human piece is more critical than AI when it comes down to it. The problem is the inability of the humans to keep track of all the vehicles, all the customers they need to during the times. So what we're seeing is that if you make it assistive and you start with the advisors, the service managers, technicians on what they want the AI to do, in our case with the cameras, Brian Bensuck said he's going to get the security dog, robo dogs. Those dogs have cameras, but dealerships already have tons of cameras, a $300 one-time cost of goods sold. And if you train that on what the process should be and should not be, conversely, then the assistive piece is big, and not having to put a sticker on or plug a device in to reveal to track everything going through the flow correctly. And so we're seeing that the camera with express service especially can already let you know when things are hung up, when it starts greeting customer in staging, time and what's happening on the rack, can assist the technician through gestures with what's going on the rack. When it gets to car wash, et cetera, can it be more transparent for the customer? Because that's what the customer wants, the transparency of the process, not just the speed. And I think how you use tools like computer vision or camera AI and the other language models and types, you just need to make them assistive because the human piece is more critical.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have Rob Leary from BG Products. And what are you seeing on your sector of the industry with AI being implemented within your organization?
Yeah, so from BG's perspective, kind of two fronts. First is kind of the appointment BDC side that we talked about, and really creating an environment where, a BDC, while as good as they could be, they don't always do what we want them to do, right? And I'm always going to ask the questions about, well, did you consider this maintenance service? Yeah, it's an oil change that you want, but have you considered the maintenance that you're due for? So we believe AI is going to really help us get there. In fact, we just did a pilot for a store in northern Florida, and we got for our fuel product alone, we got a 25% greater lift using AI in the appointment process versus not using AI. So that was one really quick ROI that we got. The other way we're using it, we have a warranty analysis tool that we use now. And if you know anything about the warranty analysis business, every state has a different statute, right, on how they conduct a warranty analysis. Every manufacturer has a different analysis on how they do their exceptions, et cetera. So AI allows us now to learn every state statute, right, and then learn every OEM statute, and then understand how those warranty elements, the exceptions as we call them, how those are all formulated by manufacturers. So we can take that machine learning, if you will, the AI, and now we can literally slice that data. We can look at the warranty analysis, and we can do what took us days to do now within a matter of minutes, literally.
So a lot of stuff on the horizon with AI, coming up. It's the new trend in the industry and a very hot topic. But at the same time, you see a lot of dealerships and different parts of the industry becoming hesitant to adapt to it. So from a dealership perspective, this can be very conversational on this panel, but starting with Sean, what advice would you give a dealership that is hesitant to onboard AI. We talked a little bit about it in the beginning with, you'll fall behind and you'll get taken over by those who are using AI because they have better processes in place and everything like that. So what advice would you give to advise people to take that step?
I would remove the AI term because I think there's a dark cloud a little bit over because some of us got burned on it, and switch it to ROI because everything is ROI. And I'll jump on what you said about warranty. We live in Wisconsin, which has a pretty liberal warranty labor rate, right? I have labor rates over $300. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars per month that we're talking about versus what it was 2 years ago. The problem is you got to stay in line of what they're changing too, because the OEM's changing literally, to your point, by the day. We got burned in one store, we got another store that gets a lift, and we did it the exact same way, just 2 different manufacturers. If we would have used AI better, I don't think we would have suffered as bad as we did. Yeah. I can't tell you the amount of hours, and again, for those that don't know, I do use, John Fairchild and I do it together. When we do our studies, the amount of time and hours, it's days and days and days, but there's such a big ROI to it. If AI would take it over, that's just a no-brainer.
I'll give you my card.
Yeah, right. But you got this $300 a warranty hour changes things, because again, I know Marco's here and Marco talks about shortage of technicians. With the labor cutting it up, I'll throw Kia out there, paying 5.5 hours to replace an engine. You can afford to pay the tech what it really takes to do the job now, because you're getting $300 in reimbursement.
Right.
Now, it comes at a price because they are held at a different standard, and that's fine. But AI, if AI fixes that, change that to ROI.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. Rob, what about you?
Yeah, just echo the same remarks there. It really is about ROI, I think, and we're starting to see it. And I think as we evolve into this, as we all said, we're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit in terms of AI, but I think the sky's the limit in terms of ROI for that product, and just like not only on the sales side of it, but the development side. So Chris and I had that common theme together on the development side, what it can do for our developers and making them that much more productive, maybe have them work on more difficult challenges and let AI do the easy stuff, the replicable stuff. So
that makes a lot of sense. And Ashley, you were just saying that you were on a demo with a customer. You pulled her for this panel. So working with customers every single day, what kind of initiative and push would you show them to adapt AI?
You have to hold your vendors accountable, right? You have to pick the right partners that are going to give you, like Sean said, the ROI, and that are going to work with you. You have to pick innovative partners, not one and done. Here's an AI phone solution. Good luck. You have to pick the right partners and hold your vendors accountable.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I think this hesitation to adopt AI really does stem from misconceptions and false information out there about AI as a solution. So my next question is, are there any common misconceptions about AI that you've had to address within your organization? If we could start with Chris.
Well, I think it's the human being replacement is the biggest one that I hear a lot of. And I look at it as not human being replacement, but human being augmentation. Like, how can we take, a dealership employee and make them more efficient at what they're doing? So what are the things that we don't need that person to do that technology can do for us? And the things that we really need that person to do, the human interaction piece of it, or maybe getting the customer to come in or whatever it happens to be when you're in front of them, let them do those kinds of things that they are really good at, that we need a person to do, and use technology for the things that we don't really need a human being to do. So I think that's the biggest fear everybody has. Outside of data privacy is probably another one people are really worried about. There's a lot of PII in a dealership. What happens if something breaks there and gets out? So there's some hesitation about that as well.
For sure. Mark, are you seeing similar things within your organization?
Absolutely. The augmentation piece is massive. In fact, we're doing something jointly right now with Chris's team on digital greeter of how do we let a camera instantly assess a vehicle and customer that come on site, and then transfer that into a digital greeting that's throughout the DMS, iPads, advisor phones, et cetera, so we can greet people by name, which they expect in other verticals that we just don't do when I show up for service here. So that assistive piece and being able to run AI for us on the computer, AI to determine the patterns of where we need assistance. Where do we need the agent to reach out and fill consistently dead times? Say Wednesdays at 4 to 6, we are just leaking oil as a department because our express is not full. Could we use the agent to reach out and fill those slots that people did there? They could get in and out 25, 30 minutes at that time. Would they come in? Probably, if we gave them transparency to know when we're dead and when they could get in and out quickly. Because the ROI piece, there are going to be 3-hour debacles for express service. And there's going to be 30-minute great experiences. It's helping the stores identify what's driving each of those and minimize one, maximize the other.
Yeah, Blink, we use AI to help dealers automatically spread those shop capacities throughout the day. So you're offering up to the customer while they're still online the best hours of the day. You're setting the expectation that, hey, morning hours are crazy, obviously, because everybody has the same idea. If you want to wait with us, bring your car in the afternoon. And even just simple pushes like that to the customer to help set better expectations and then hold our in-house teams accountable to capacity.
Yeah, and during Brian Benstock's keynote address earlier this morning, he showed a quote from a famous soccer player saying he doesn't go to where the ball is, he goes to where it's going. And I think this can be applicable to AI and, you know, what's on the horizon for AI as a solution, especially in this industry. So my next question is, what do you see for the future of it? We can start with Brian.
I would say, I had a conversation recently with Dan Cockrell, who used to run Walt Disney World. And he was telling me, it's similar to what like we're going through with digital retail and dealerships, where so much pushback, everybody doesn't want to adopt it. And what he said is the Magic Band adoption that they started in 2012 didn't really take until 2015. And he said if he goes back in retrospect, well, he didn't understand. They thought it was technology, and they thought it just wasn't working. And all the employees were saying it doesn't work because of this and this. And the same thing's happening right now in dealerships around the country. And what they found is, once they pulled a few of them off to the side, is they were sabotaging it because they thought they were getting replaced by these gold globes when you're walking in. And he said, no, it's nothing like that. Then from here, we're going to go to this project and this project, but they didn't communicate it. So he started doing every 2-week town hall meetings at the Hall of Presidents and explaining to everybody what's next. So I think that that's the leader's job at every single dealership, every single business we're facing at Cars Commerce, that you share the vision that they're not being replaced, and you're very clear on this is what happens next, and then this, and this is the project, and we need you to be bought in on this so that they're a partner through an AI transformation, not a resistor.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anything to add, Chris?
I would just say, I would piggyback off of something Brian said. Like, first of all, like, have a vision. You know, well, how do you envision AI working in your dealership? Because it's going to be different in every organization, big store, small store, groups, you know, whatever it happens to be. But you know, establish that vision and what you want it to be, and then work toward accomplishing that, even if it's a, you know, kind of a crawl, walk, run, where you do some things easy and you get your organization behind it. And then phase 2 is to go a little bit bigger on it. And then as you do this, people will see, I'm okay, I'm going to be okay. And if you're not okay, well then, you know, maybe, you know, you didn't need to be at the dealership in the first place. But, you know, I think that's a good approach.
That's awesome. Lots of great insight here, Katrina, from the best of the best.
Definitely, and thank you all for joining us on this panel today. And New York City, the greatest city in the world, the Big Apple, it has many names. So it's great to be with you all in person, as we know, many of you virtually. But for those of you online, stay tuned because we have a lot more to come.